please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out on this evening. Antoinette, can I get a roll call?
Mr. Cook?
Here.
Mr. D'Andriano?
Here.
Mr. Rogan?
Here.
Ms. Smith? Here.
Here.
Mr. Williams?
Here. Mr. Lidori, could you read the public notice?
Sure. Notice of public hearing for fire protection contracts, Town of Patterson, County of Putnam, State of New York. Please take notice that by resolution of the Town Board of the Town of Patterson, New York, adopted at a meeting of said board on December 27, 2017, a public hearing will be held by the Town Board of the Town of Patterson, New York, at Town Hall, 1142 Route 311, Patterson, New York, on January the 10th, 2018, at 7 o'clock p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be heard, to consider the following contracts. Fire protection contract with Patterson Fire Department Number 1 for the calendar year 2018 in the amount of $567,050, and fire protection contract with Putnam Lake Fire Department for the calendar year 2018 in the amount of $416,600, hereinafter collectively referred to as the fire protection contracts. At said public hearing, all persons interested in the subject matter thereof shall have the opportunity to be heard. Copies of the aforesaid proposed fire protection contracts are on file with the town clerk. The town board will make every effort to assure that the hearing is accessible to persons with disabilities. Anyone requiring special assistance and/or reasonable accommodations should contact the town clerk.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So this is a state requirement that we have to do every year before we can go into contract to provide fire services for the town of Patterson. It addresses the two contracts, one for town of Patterson and one for Putnam Lake. I would ask that anybody has any questions on the contract or wish to make any comments, if you could come up to the mic, state your name, make your comments.
Eleanor Smith, President, Patterson Fire Department. This is just a hearing. It's not saying that the contracts have been approved, because we're still under negotiation. Just clarifying.
It is not saying that the contract has been approved, but it should be fairly close to its final form at this point.
I think the attorneys are still discussing
The
our
comments
contract.
well, I'll let you address that.
Yeah, I received two comments from Dave Garwood. The first was a request to remove two provisions that were duplicative because of the new adoption of Section 184 of Town Law. So there were things that we had the fire department doing, making a filing in accordance with the general municipal law, making a filing in accordance with the not-for-profit law. Those matters are now covered under Section 184 of Town Law. So there was no reason to have them listed twice in the contract. The second comment from counsel for Patterson was a request to be relieved of an obligation to make one of the filings. I had corresponded with Dave Garwood just to get a clarification on one question. So that's what I have is open, and the total comments from Dave on the contract.
Okay. So it's still in negotiation. We're still discussing it. I haven't heard from him yet. I know I'm waiting for him to discuss it with you to get back to me.
Okay. He didn't
Okay.
indicate he would have. When we talked, I didn't know if there would be any more comments that were more substantive than those two. If there are, then okay. I just don't have what
Okay.
those are. But those are the two that were out there. The removal of the duplicative provisions that I agreed to immediately. There was no reason to have them restated twice. The other comment on the reporting, I just needed a clarification from Dave because he indicated that that there was a requirement to submit the point sheets on a quarterly basis, but that's not what's in the contract. So I wrote back to him to say, I'm wondering.
I think we changed that last year.
Yeah, and I think he might have been confusing one thing with the other, so I just asked him to get back to me with that clarification, and I brought Rich up to speed as to where we were.
I think there was also a discussion on the vehicle replacement fund.
No, he didn't
He
raise
didn't,
any
okay.
issue about vehicle replacement.
About the town holding our money.
Nope. No. No, I would have highlighted that for the board so that they knew.
Okay,
Yeah, he didn't raise it on the phone.
okay. Well, that's under discussion with the board at the firehouse.
Okay.
So I'll get back to you as soon as possible with that.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Anyone else have any comments on the fire department contracts? Motion to close the public hearing?
Motion to close the public hearing?
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on. Can I get a motion on the reports?
I will make a motion that we accept and file the reports that have been submitted. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion on the supervisor's report?
We'll move that we approve the supervisor's report in the amount of $5,916,988.35. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion on the minutes?
I will make a motion that the town board approve the minutes from the organizational meeting on January 4th, 2018. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I get someone to audit the bills?
Yeah. I will make a motion that the town board approve abstract number 24 dated December 29th, 2017 in the amount of $153,706.98. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Cook, you're up and back.
Okay. First item on tonight's agenda is the recycling center cell tower. Back in November, the town had a balloon test made for a proposed cell tower down by the recycling center. We awaited a report from the company outlining the demographics and site view of the balloon of the proposed cell tower, what would have been the top of the cell tower. We received that. The supervisor has asked that the company do some additional work. He felt it was some additional information was needed. So we are awaiting that. Hopefully we will have that so we can discuss it at our next meeting. The report was pretty inclusive, but still needed, we still needed additional information.
Once we get that report, with the board's permission, I'll post that up online so everybody can have it and take a look at it.
Okay.
Yes?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next, we have been advised by the New York State to changes to the New York State real property tax law for Cold War veterans exemption. They are, there's a quick one on here. The state authorized it on their behalf. We're allowed to extend the exemption allowable for town of Patterson veterans who served during the Cold War, to increase the assessed value of the properties at 15% of the assessed value, and not to exceed $54,000. Previously, it was $12,000. And also for service-connected disability, if veterans qualify there, that exemption goes from $54,000 to $180,000. So we will have a public hearing next meeting, and I will make a motion that the town board authorize the town clerk to hold to advertise for the public hearing on January 24th, 2018. And we have a resolution, so I'll just say as per the resolution before us, I will say so moved.
Second.
So just to be clear, what you're doing is introducing local law number 1 of 2018 and scheduling a public hearing.
Correct.
Well said.
Just what I said.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Anything else, Charles?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
You're up.
All righty. First item, actually, we spoke about last meeting, not the organizational meeting, but the one before, and then there was a holdup. There was a request to rehire one of our previously hired EMTs who went on and sought additional work. He is looking to come back on a part-time basis. Okay.
Yeah, swallowed it backwards.
Okay. This is a gentleman that was a great EMT for the town of Patterson. We'd be happy to rehire him. So we, with the support of our EMS administrator, Denise Montana, we are looking to rehire Ryan Cullen as a part-time EMT at a rate of $15 an hour. So I'll make a motion that we rehire this individual pending submission of all required paperwork. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next item we have is the EMS billing and collection policy. This has been put out, several comments were received and discussed by the board, so this is really formalizing this policy. So I will move the resolution creating the ambulance billing and collection policy for the town of Patterson as though it were read in its entirety into the record. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
I had a comment. I apologize because I
It's okay.
was not at the last meeting. It's on the late payment fee, is that a little high or
No, that's standard.
Yeah.
standard? Okay, and we have,
It's 9% APR.
okay, 2 Bs?
Yeah, I changed that.
You did, okay,
I don't know why it's still in there, but I
okay.
have changed it.
And one other comment. On the reporting, do we, it says here that the town will receive a report of the financial hardships for folks that was granted. I hope we're going to get that without names, or is there a way to do that?
Yeah, it should be presented to the board without names. We have to follow the HIPAA policy.
What is that?
It's a federally mandated policy about disclosure of information
Health
regarding,
information.
yeah, medical
Okay.
care.
Yeah, I don't see any reason why we have to have names. We can have numbers and.
No, we are very careful about meeting HIPAA.
Wonderful. Call for a vote.
So just to, you had a comment.
Oh, I'm sorry, what?
Well, there was the
There was a
vote, but
motion.
you did, Charlie
Yeah, we
actually
kind
didn't
of
vote.
did the vote, and then you commented.
So want to just
Do you
say
want to
all
have the
in favor?
record
All in
reflect your
favor?
vote?
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed?
Awesome.
There we go.
Alrighty, we had a request from Mary Delanoy, our receiver of taxes, to appoint Susan McEllery, deputy tax receiver for 2018 at a rate of $15.99 an hour, so I'll move that appointment. So moved.
Second.
Actually, that is Mary's appointment.
So we're just
She is
acknowledging it.
just informing us that she's made that
Okay,
appointment.
so we will just acknowledge that appointment. So, great. And then lastly, following on what was said by Mr. Cook, we have local law number, it actually says I-2, but it's local law number 2, correct?
It's I-2.
I-2.
When you start off with the local laws, the first thing you do is an introductory local law.
So, okay. And so this comes up basically for senior citizen exemptions that were passed previously by the town board, but not properly recorded in local law. So we are looking to simply continue the senior exemptions that had been followed by practice in the past. So I will make a motion to introduce local law I-2 into the record and set a public hearing for January 24th, 2018. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. First on my agenda is the third local law for 2018, introductory local law I-3, which I've got to correct. Introducing a local law to amend our town's zoning code to change the requirements for commercial recreational districts and create commercial recreational districts as a floating zone. So I would like to introduce local law I-3 and ask that it be entered into the record as though read. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in
And I have a
favor?
comment.
Go ahead.
Okay, and I apologize again not being at the last meeting. Under the permitted accessory uses, there's one that says about restaurants or snack bars, except prefabricated railroad car style diners, drive-ins, or curb service. Why are
Correct.
we
I
accepting-
did get your prior comments on this, and rethought that a little bit. So in this current version, I did add in the snack bars, which made a lot of sense. The other two, the car-style diners, I don't know that we want that kind of appearance in a commercial recreation district.
Okay.
What's the board's thoughts? It's an aesthetic issue, really.
Mhm.
So what you'd be saying is that someone with a mobile food service permit, right, with a vending vehicle,
Yep.
would not be allowed to operate on the property of this commercial district, even if it were for an event. Is that what you're saying? It would be an exclusion?
Well, listen, the events are always treated differently.
Because it's one thing having them in this zone parking along the road, but if it's inside the site,
We're talking about, permanent structures within the site.
oh, okay.
So it's not a food truck, it's a permanent, like a trailer,
Yeah.
those.
No, I would agree with that then. I
Yeah,
think
I'll
that's
give you a
good
perfect
exclusion.
example. I mean, I love the place, Rocco's. That's a railroad car-style diner or,
Yeah, I mean, I personally don't find
If you
it
want-
offensive.
What
I
you're
mean,
saying then is if you want a food service on site, make it part of your improvements to the site and make it an appropriate
Correct.
aesthetic use.
and remember, what we're doing here is a floating zone, so this,
Yeah.
Again, it's gonna be down on 311, we're gonna have an application for there. This type of establishment is permitted along Route 22, I believe.
Right.
mhm.
So it's not that we're outlawing them within the town, there is a place for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I have one other comment. About fairs and festivals, this is G.
Yeah.
And let me think. Of not more than 3 contiguous weeks and not more than 3 times within the period of 1 year. Is that per applicant, like one person or one
Per
organization?
property,
I'm
per
sorry?
parcel, per lot.
A lot. Okay, so if someone comes in and has some type of festival, runs 3 contiguous weeks, that's it, then nobody else can do it after that.
No,
A lot.
that's not what that says. That says it, Thunder Ridge. Thunder Ridge wants to run a fair or festival out at Thunder Ridge. They could do, 3 of them within a given year.
Okay,
After that, we need to take a step back, and it's becoming more of a permanent activity on the site that needs to be addressed.
even if somebody else came in to do it?
Just so it doesn't turn into an amusement park, right? It's just,
Right.
you get up to 3 events, each event is no longer than 3 weeks.
Right. Okay.
And I think the design behind that, Charlie, is that if that's the intent for the property, then that should be properly addressed, so that it's a permanent, the site is designed for those type of events rather than them being pop-up events. That then we have to figure out, how do we safely handle parking? How do we safely handle all of those aspects that we are doing with public gathering permits? There maybe then is the appropriateness of reviewing a plan permanently for those type, because
Correct.
there are a lot of events, but rather than having them just be pop-up type events.
Okay.
I think it comes back to site constraints and problems we've had with other properties with these sorts of events.
We're
So
going
it's
back
trying to
and-
plan for the future.
Going back and forth with.
Right.
Just wanted to get it out there.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's number one. Number two is committee assignments. At the organizational meeting, I did a number of committee assignments. Upon further consideration, I would like to change one of those. And for the EMS committee, I would like to place Peter D'Andriano on the EMS committee along with Denise Montana, Joe Nicoshere, Adam Stiebling, and Robert Kearns. Third on my agenda is shared services. I've been working with the other supervisors in the county. As you're all aware, Governor Cuomo made a proposal for creating a shared services plan for the county. We've been working on it. I have an outline here of the areas that the supervisors have me working on, trying to develop this plan for the public. The supervisors are looking at additional shared services. We already share a lot of services between the supervisors, but we're looking at additional shared services in the areas of highway, possibly court, garbage and recycling, animal control, electric, green energy, ambulance, fire, and schools. And I wanted to throw that out to the board for a discussion if everybody has any thoughts about any of those items, or if there's anything you think we're missing. And, you know, you can respond now or you can respond at a later date if you...
The only question I have now for tonight is the schools being listed. Does the town, do the towns or the county have any control over the school? This talks about school administration consolidation. And do we have any purview in that?
We actually do not. In discussion with the county and the other towns, we all acknowledge that one of our biggest costs, our biggest taxes, is our school systems. And with this proposal by the governor, we were hoping there would be more enthusiasm by some of the school districts to look at maybe sharing some of their services, including administration. That hasn't really come to fruition, but the supervisors, you know, as a body, feel strongly that that's something that should remain on the table, that at some point the schools are going to need to start talking about means of cost sharing and trying to reduce the tax burden on our residents. So.
Okay.
So does this have anything to do with the meeting we were all invited to, the council members, to a meeting at the Tops building?
Well, that,
Is this,
yes, it does and it doesn't. The governor released his proposal. He put a very short time frame on which to organize everything. The county tried to pull everybody together into one room rather than just sit with the supervisors and try to work through some issues. At the end of the day, you know, too many people being in the room ended up not getting anything done. And that was year one, which is why the supervisors sent a recommendation over to County Executive Odell that maybe we need to take a step back and take a little bit more time to make sure that we're actually coming up with a program that not only saves taxes, but is also beneficial to our residents and providing the necessary services. So that was the initial first year. Yeah, we still have to
there's one
meet
coming
this.
up.
Yeah, we still
Yeah.
have to meet this in the coming year.
So that should be interesting.
Yeah, oh yeah. So the supervisors are working on a plan. I know the county has their Commission on Fiscal Vision, which is also talking about a plan, and hopefully we'll meet somewhere in the middle.
A couple of additionals.
You think? So let me apologize to everybody right now. There's a lot of things that came up in the past couple of days that didn't actually make the agenda, so I would like to make a motion to add to my agenda HR public sector prior tax certiorari repairs to the wastewater treatment plant and an executive session personnel.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So the first thing is, everybody is aware of the board that we've had a bit of a personnel issue. We all felt strongly that we needed to go to an outside consultant to bring somebody in to counsel the individuals that were involved in the incident. It wasn't anything overly dramatic or life-threatening, but still, we felt that counseling was appropriate. I reached out to HR sector, public sector, who has done most of our HR, outside HR work. They have sent a proposal down to do the counseling to the two individuals for an amount of $900 plus travel. So I wanted to see what worked. Excuse me?
I'd rather spend the money there than on the
Yeah.
alternative.
And is there a number of hours or time frame?
No. But they're probably going to be spending about 4 hours with each individual.
Okay.
Fine.
So I'll make a motion, we authorize HR, public sector, to provide counseling services to the town of Patterson for an amount of $900. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. The second addition to my agenda, at the last meeting, we had approved an attorney to represent the town in a tax certiorari. Unfortunately, we all knew there was a slight conflict with the attorney, but he was an excellent attorney. We were very enthusiastic about using him. But there was a conflict. He could not get a release from the conflict, so he has had to recuse himself and cannot represent us in the matter. So I reached out to another attorney who has represented us very well in the past, Whitney Singleton, with Singleton, Davis, and Singleton. We have a letter of engagement here, so I'd like to make a motion that the town board authorize Whitney Singleton of Singleton, Davis, and Singleton to represent the town in the Friar Realty LLC tax certiorari for an amount of $200 per hour. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, last on my agenda, the never-ending story of the wastewater treatment plant. The circulator pump for the boilers went out. We had to make some emergency repairs in the amount of $2,121.15, and I'd like to make a motion that we approve and authorize the repairs that have been completed at the wastewater treatment plant for said amount. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And my executive session, I will defer to the end of the night. Mary, you're up.
I'm up. Okay, the first item on my agenda is recreation requests. The Town of Patterson Rec Center is requesting to hire a new senior staff member at the Recreation Center for the rate of $12 per hour. So I move to hire Donna Camarota as a senior staff member for the Recreation Center. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The second request from the rec center is for T-shirts. 150 T-shirts off of a non-bid procurement request form for reversible moisture management jerseys, 150 of them at $13.49 a piece for a total of $190. I'm sorry, for a total of $21.23. So I move to approve the purchase of 150 jerseys at $21.23.50. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm new with this.
You're doing fine.
Don't
Doing
worry.
good.
Okay. I like to talk a lot, so it's all right. Okay, the second item on my agenda are conference requests. We have only one for Mr. Bob McCarthy, and he would like to attend the New York State Building Officials Conference in the Westchester County Center for 4 dates. So I move to approve not to be more than $190 for Bob to attend these 4 dates. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. D'Andriano.
Okay, first item on my agenda is the EFPR Group CPA engagement letter. So we have a packet with the enclosed engagement letters to provide audit and related services to the town of Patterson for the year ending December 31st, 2017. So we also have a resolution here, so I'd like to make a motion to accept this resolution to hire the EFPR Group CPAs for auditing services for the town. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next item on my agenda is Christmas tree pickup schedule. It's that time of year again. All our trees are done. I still have my decorations up. I still got to take them down. Town of Patterson Highway Department Christmas tree pickup Thursday, January 18th and Friday, January 19th. The snow date is Thursday, January 25th and Friday, January 26th. Please have your tree curbside by Wednesday night. For more information, call 878-4341 or email highway@pattersonny.org. Okay, next item is budget transfers. So I'd like to make a motion to accept the following budget transfers. First one is number 57, the Patterson Refuge District 2, for $15,956 from the sale of equipment to the judgments and claims contractual line. Budget number 58, the amount of $285 from appropriate fund balance to judgments and claim contractual. Number 59, $407 from workers' compensation account to judgments and claims contractual. $14 from street lighting contractual to judgments and claims contractual. Number 61 is $43 from state retirement to judgments and claims contractual. Number 62, $19,930 from state retirement to $12,550 of that to machine contractual, $720 to miscellaneous contractual, and $6,660 to snow removal contractual. Number 63, Patterson Refuge District 2, $2,261 from sanitation contractual fuel usage to sanitational contractual. And I also have one zero.
Let's do 17. And,
Okay.
That was for 2017.
That was for 2017.
2017 separate.
So second.
So,
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion for the 2018 01. Budget transfer, taxes and assessments on property contractual, $62 from contingent account to taxes on property contractual. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Let me keep going.
One more.
Okay, I'd like to also make a motion to accept Patrick Vieri at the Putnam Lake Fire Department as a new member for the Putnam Lake Fire Department. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Other business. Any board member have any other business?
I just have one thing, that we received this letter from Cone Law Group about free legal assessment regarding cable franchising. What, have we reached out to those?
No, not yet. I will in the next week,
Okay,
as I said I would.
thank you.
Anyone else?
I think we should just mention that this evening, the board met with our comptroller and did our yearly audit and found no problems. We went through more than a dozen records, followed them through from beginning to end, and she impressed us as always. Her book work is very good, so I just wanted to acknowledge that.
Thank you.
Second that.
Great.
Public recognition?
Good evening, Bruce Major, Somerset Drive. As it relates to the cell tower discussions at the next town board meeting, back in November, I spoke to you, Rich, about getting the same material from Metro North as it relates to the SL Tower proposal back on 164. As you know, no member of the town board went to that visual. In fact, one member...
Which visual are you referring to?
I'm sorry?
Which visual are you referring to?
The balloon test on 164.
Metro North
Oh, the
conducted their
original
own
one.
visual assessment.
Yes, no member of the
We've
town
never
board
seen
was
it.
notified, and one town employee was directed not to go there. Now, in addition to that, back in December, I provided to the town board copies of the Carmel proposed law dealing with the aesthetics of cell towers. I would like to also have you discuss that at the next meeting. And if there are any other sites being proposed, we should be made aware of those other sites. Thank you very much.
Okay, just so you know, Bruce, I had a conference call with Metro North last Friday, ended up getting canceled. I've got it, it's rescheduled for this Friday at 3 o'clock.
Thank you very much.
Anyone else?
All right, I have a small list. I'm going to start with Mike Arcall from the Park District in Putnam Lake. We had a New Year's Eve day children's party, which was very successful. I just wanted to say to the community of, unfortunately, just Putnam Lake, thank you all for coming out. It was a great success for all our kids because it is just for our members. Then from the fire department, I'm the president of Putnam Lake Fire Department. We had a holiday parade, which was a great success. I believe, well, probably just not Putnam Lake, but all the surrounding communities were there. I want to thank Rich Williams for driving and pulling the rec center. He was there. Peter D'Andriano might have been in the right place or the wrong place at the perfect time, not sure. He was our Grand Marshal. He led the parade down. And I believe I saw a bunch of you all out there. We also did a Santa's breakfast the following weekend, which was another success for our department. So I want to thank the department or the community and say thank you. Mary Delanoy is going to come for the residents to the firehouse on January 27th to collect taxes. And if you didn't give enough, we're also going to have a blood drive that day. Mary will be there from 10 to 1, and the blood drive, I believe, is from 9 to 2, maybe 3 o'clock. Depends on the weather and how many people donate. To continue, because I figure why not, we'll accept pretty much anybody as being a member of our department that wants to come help out. I'd like also to say that Joe Hickok and Don Camilani also joined this month. I'm not sure why I only had one of the three, but we want to make sure that they're going to be covered so we can get them training as soon as possible.
I was wondering about that. I saw Don there the other night, and
Right.
he's not on my list.
Yeah, so we did have 3 members.
Okay, good.
So we just want to make sure that they're on the comp so they can start training. So with that being said, 2 months ago we had a 50-year-old join. Last month we had a 40-year-old join, a couple 16-year-olds. We'll help train anybody for any particular thing that they want to come help out. One guy just wants to come down and drive. Okay, you take the BFO, you take some driver training, get your pump operator. That alleviates one person that could be doing something else if you can come down and drive. So any help is always appreciated. We are, in Putnam Lake, a first responder unit now. We are toned out for every EMS call, along with the paid Patterson ambulance service, which is working out great in Putnam Lake. We respond to probably 75 to 80% of the calls in Putnam Lake with the EMS crew. So I believe we help them out, which is good, and it also keeps our call volume going. We can administer Narcan, which unfortunately we did have to do the Friday before New Year's, and actually saved someone. Then the EMS crew helped out. I believe they had to give him a second shot to revive him. So that leads me into, we do have an epidemic in the area. It's a lot more than you think. The Friday before Christmas, a friend of mine's nephew died in his car, like a block away from his uncle's house, on an overdose. So if you see something, say something kind of thing. If you know somebody that's having some problems, try to get them some help. There is problems in the area, so I just want to make sure that it's known throughout the town that there is a heroin epidemic actually closer than we think. And that's all. Just want to say thank you for the year.
While we're on that topic, our highway superintendent brought something to my attention, which I realize we have a problem, and everybody is working on trying to address that problem as
Right.
best we can. One of the things most people don't know, which again Russ brought to my attention, is while you're out there on the roads, walking alongside the roads, there are people dumping hypodermic needles out there. Very, very careful.
Right. We also have one address, I can't go into particulars, that one of the family members is approved to administer Narcan because one of their family members has a problem, and she actually shot him once and saved him. So, there is a problem, and like you said, just be careful of your own, even just cleaning up around the neighborhood.
Yep.
So, thank you.
Michael, just one quick thing, the two names that you mentioned, you get that to us. memo
Yeah, I'll make
form,
sure, I don't know, Pete usually sends them right up,
Yeah.
and I guess he sent one out of the three, or,
Just so we have it officially, we can.
oh, he sent two? Okay, but there was three. All right,
You had the other one?
thank you.
He just gave it to me yesterday.
Okay. Okay. All right. Anyone else? Motion to go into executive session?
Motion to go to executive session.
I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for coming.
Hang on.